sheet metal bending. Design principles. First one, bend radius. Second, bend allowance. And third one, bend pressures. So, we will clearly regarding these three things. First, bend radius. It is designed as the radius of the curvature on the inside or concave surface of the bend. I repeat, it is designed as the radius of the curvature on the inside or the concave surface of the bend. The bend radius cannot be smaller than a certain value to avoid the cracking of the metal on the outer tensile surface. We will see the figure. On the top you are seeing the area under tension, below that you are seeing the bending allowance, below that area under compression, at the bottom bend angle, the bend line and the neutral axis. So, first we will see regarding the bending radius. Ductile material have 0 bend radius. The ductile material which is having the 0 bend materials. To avoid any damage to the punch and the die at the bend, the radius value should be not less than the 0.80. So, to avoid any damage or the punch, it is the die bend radius. To avoid any damage to the punch and the die at the bend radius, value should not be less than the 0.8 into thickness. Soft metals can be bent 180 degrees with a bend radius equal or less than the stock thickness. So, these are the parameters which we have to take into consideration during the bending. For the soft metals, we can bend 180 degrees with a bend radius equal to or less than the stock thickness. For high temperature metals, a bend radius should be larger and is kept equal to or greater than 5 times the stock thickness. Next, bending allowance. In bending, the length of the material in the bend area will be more than the corresponding length of the blank before the bending. I repeat, in bending, the length of the material in the bend area will be more than the corresponding length of the blank before the bending. So, such increase in the length is known as a bend allowance. Increase in the length, that is known as a bend allowance. It is necessary to calculate the length of the material in the curved position to calculate the blank length for the bending. So, the bending allowance added for the length of the straight legs of the part will be the length of the blank. So, in the middle you can see the bend allowance. After bending, it will increase its length. That is what we are saying. So, it is calculated from the following formula: B equal to A by 360 into 2 pi into bracket close R plus KT. I repeat, B equal to A by 360 into 2 pi into bracket close R plus KT, where B is the bending allowances along the neutral axis, A in bend angle in degrees, R is the inside radius of the bend in centimeters, T is the thickness of the blank in mm, and K is a constant. By using this formula, we can easily know the bend allowance, bending allowance. So, the value for K we will see tabular column stock material, where R is less than 2T, where R is greater than 2T. Mild steel, first one edge bending, second V bending, U bending, 0.2T and the 0.33T. Second, soft copper, soft brass, soft to hard aluminium, 0.33 to 0.50T. half hard copper, half hard brass, half hard steel, hard aluminum is 0.40 and the 0.5T. Hard copper, hard brass, hard steel, spring steel is 0.5T and the 0.5T. So, these are the values for K. Bending design principles. Bending allowance. For sharp bends, the bend allowance may be taken as 0.5 into T. For sharp bends, the bend allowance may be taken as a 0.5 into T. A bend should not be closer to a edge than 1.5 into T plus bend radius. So, bend allowance L equal to L1 plus L2 plus 0.25 into T. So, bend in design principles. Bending pressure. It is the force or load to be applied to cause bending. It is the force or load to be applied to cause bending. It depends upon the stock thickness, material, die size and the type of the bend. For V bending, the formula can be given as the bending pressure F equal to K into L into Fu into T square by W newtons. I repeat, F equal to K into L into Fu into T square by W, where K is a constant, that is equal to 1.33 for W equal to 80, that is equal to 1.20 for W equal to 16T. L equal to length of the bend in mm, Fu equal to ultimate tensile strength of the material, W equal to the width of the die opening, and T equal to stock thickness. So, for U or channel bending, the pressure will be twice as for V bending. For H bending, it will be about 1/2 of that of the V bending. I repeat, for U or channel bending, the pressure will be twice as for V bending. For H bending, it will be about 1/2 of that of a V bending. Bending pressure. For channels or U bend pressure, where bottom is necessary and blank hold pad is employed, the pressure capacity is calculated by using the formula Fc equal to F plus A into Pb, where Fc is the minimum press capacity, F is the bending strength, A area of the pad face, Pb average blank holding pressure, that equal to 10/5 bar for less ductile and thickness and 28 bar for more ductile and thin materials. So, in this figure you can see the V bending, below that you can see the U bending. We will see one problem regarding this, the bending. A 40 centimeter long, 20 centimeter wide and 5 centimeter thickness strip is to be bent in a V-shaped die. Determine the bending force necessary if the die opening is 80 and the strip has an 12 kilonewton per centimeter square tensile strength. Solution. The width of die opening, he has given an 80 in the given data. So, T is nothing but an 5 mm thickness. So, 8 into 0.5, that is equal to 4 centimeters. So, bending force is given as F equal to K into L into Fu into T square by W. This is the formula which we are having. Now, we have got the K equal to 1.33 for 80, L equal to 40 and T equal to 5 mm, that equal to 0.5 centimeters and Fu equal to 12 kilonewton per centimeter square. By applying these all things in the formula, we will get the 39.9 kilonewtons or 40 kilonewtons. That is the answer. So, the material for punches and the dies. Material for the punches and the dies. Required characteristics of press tool materials are the characteristics that are required for the press tool materials. Those are abrasive resistance, shock resistance, resistance to dissolution in hardening, and the cutting ability. These are the characteristics that should have for the tool materials. Materials for punches and the dies. Materials for the punches and the dies. Plain carbon tool steel with carbon 0.9% to 1.1%. Alloy steels with composition of C 0.6, chromium 0.5, vanadium 0.50. Non-ferrous materials like bismuth alloys used for forming and drawing dies. Densified wood for forming dies in some cases. Molded rubber in forming dies. I repeat, plain carbon tool steel with carbon 0.9% to 1.1%. Alloy steels with the composition of carbon 0.6, chromium 0.5 and vanadium 0.50. Non-ferrous materials like bismuth alloys used for the forming and the drawing dies. Densified wood for forming dies in some cases. Molded rubber in the forming dies. Now we will see the another problem. Find the punch and die dimensions of the tool to produce a washer of 5 centimeters. Outside dimension with a 2.4 centimeters diameter hole from the material of 4 mm thickness, having a shear strength of 36 kN per centimeter square. Take the clearance of 5% of stock thickness. Solution. The production of washer consists of two operations. These are blanking the outside the diameter and piercing the inner holes. Hence, the blanking pressure of the force F equal to pi dt into Fs. By applying those values in the formula, that equal to pi into 5 into 0.4 into 36, we will get the 226.19 kilonewtons. Piercing pressure or the force F2, that equal to pi dt into Fs. Same, by adding the values from the given data, pi into 2.4 into 0.4 into 336, 108 into 57 kilonewtons. Total pressure required, that equal to F1 plus F2. So, by adding the both above values F1 and F2, we will get the 334.76 kilonewtons. So, per 10 kgs, we will get the 334.76 kgs, and in the terms of tons, 33.47 tons. The clearance is taken as 5% of stock thickness, that is given in the given data. Therefore, piercing punch diameter equal to 2.4 centimeter. Piercing pi diameter is equal to 2.4 plus 2c. 2.4 plus 2 in the bracket 5% of 0.5. By that we will get the 2.45 centimeters answer. So, blanking punch diameter 5 minus 2c, like that we will get the 4.95 centimeters. The above calculation is given by the press capacity of the tool without the shear into the contact. If shear is taken into consideration in the press capacity, that will be reduced by the 20%. In such cases, press capacity equal to 0.8 into 33.47 equal to 26.78 tons. Hi to all, this is the Venu contract lecturer in mechanical engineering from GMR Polytechnic, Kurnool. So in the continuation of the previous video, now we are going to see regarding the sheet metal bending. Now we are going to see the sheet metal bending. So that is a code working process in which a flat sheet or strip of metal is strainedly uniform around a linear axis. This is nothing but a code working process in which a flat sheet or the strip, flat sheet or the strip is nothing but which it may be the rectangular or square, and the flat sheet is nothing but a long one or a lengthiest one of the metal is strained uniformly. That means it gets strained uniformly around a linear axis. That is called as an sheet metal bending. So the metal is stressed both in tension and compression. At first what will happen? The metal is stressed both in a tension and the compression. Such tension and compression takes place at the two sides of neutral axis. Such tension and the compression, they both take place at the two sides of the neutral axis. Such stresses are beyond the elastic limit but below the ultimate strength of the material. So due to some amount of plastic deformation, even when the load is removed, the metal retains the bent shape given by the die. So as we already know regarding the elasticity of the metal, when we apply the load on the elastic thing, what will happen? It will when we apply the load on the elastic one, it will change its shape, and when we release or when we take out the load from that one, it will retains its shape. So in coming to the point of an metal, it won't regain its shape, just it will same as like is. So that's what he is saying. Due to some amount of plastic deformation, that means when the load applied, it will becomes in plastic deformation. Even when the load is removed, the metal remains the bent shape given by the die. So this is the metal deformation. I am making a zoom. So in the screen you are seeing the metal which is bent. That may be in the die or the vise or whatever it may be. So blue color, that is the stretch, and the bottom is an compression. That's why we have seen it will result in the both tension and the compression. So this is nothing but the metal deformation. So now we will see some more. In the screen you are seeing from the top word I am still telling area under tension, below that the bend allowance, below that the area under compression, and the bottom bend angle, radius, bend line, neutral axis. So by this the material will get bent. So bending. So what you are seeing on the screen, we have kept in two dies which is somewhat a distance, and the blank and the punch. What we are doing? From the vertical direction, we are applying the force on the punch. Due to that, the punch will ascends on the blank. So due to the applying of an force, what will happen? The blank will get bends. So the process called as an bending process. Bending methods. The two bending methods are commonly used in press working. They are V bending and the edge bending. The two bending methods commonly used in press working, they are V bending and the edge bending. First we will see regarding the V bending. A wedge shaped punch forces the stock against the vertical face of the die. I repeat, a wedge shaped punch forces of the stock against the vertical force of the die. The bend angle may be acute 90 degrees or obtuse. So we will see in the figure. V bending. You are seeing the one die. Just we can take the example of an male or female die. In between that, we will kept one steel strip or the blank. So due to the applying of an external force, what will happen? It will acquires the shape of the die only. This is nothing but an V bending, angle bending. In the operation of the bending, a sheet metal to the required angle. Angle bending is nothing but a sheet metal to the required angle. The punch and the die is shaped to the desired angle. The punch and the die, those are shaped to the desired angle. Now we will see the angle bending figure. See on the screen. 1, 2, 3 parts are there. First one is a punch, second one plate, third one is a die. So in between the punch and die, we have kept a plate, that is also called as a blank. Here the die is a stationary one, whereas the punch is a movable one. Movable in the sense, when we apply the external load or the pressure, it will descend down. So it will acquire the shape of the die only. It will acquire the shape of the die only. This is called as an angle bending. Next we will see the V bending. See that figure? In the carpentry, that is the example for an dovetail joint. Just you see from the side view. See here what is happening there. In the first we have seen this figure only. Punch, the bottom one is a die and the middle one is a blank. So here also we are applying the external force from the vertical direction. That is why the sheet or the blank, it will bend. It will acquire the shape of the die only. Next, edge bending. Sorry. A flat punch forces that stock again is the vertical face of the die. Sorry. A flat punch forces that stock again is the vertical face of the die. The bend axis is parallel to the edge of the die and the stock is subjected to the cantilever loading. We will see in the figure clearly. A pressure pad is used to prevent the movement of the stock during the bending. See there what is happening. Die, and we are using the extra pressure pad. From the top we have fixed the blank. So after the bending, we have kept an pressure pad which is used to prevent the movement of the stock. Which is used to prevent the movement of the stock. So this is the example for the edge bending. Next, spanking. Next one, spanking. See in the screen. So it is a formation of a bulge on the outer surface of the sheet under the punch during the bending. It is the formation of the bulge on the outer surface of the sheet under the punch during the bending. So see on the screen. Now you can clearly observe the bulge. Example we have seen in the forging operation, that is the upsetting. When we apply the external force from the topward direction by heating the metal in the middle only, what will happen? Due to the repeated stress or the repeated load or the hammering, it will bulge. That is a good example for the bulging. Here see what is happening. Lightly it is bulging. That is nothing but an spanking. That is nothing but an spanking. It is prevented by having a tool surface of sufficient area to restrain metal flow. Is prevented by having a tool surface of a sufficient area to restrain metal flow. The nose radius of the punch is gradually blended into the punch faces. The lower die should be provided with a mating surface so that when the die and the punch are completely closed, any bulging developed earlierly will be completely sparsed or spanked out. See in the figure, bulging. If you apply the load correctly, the bulge will get out and it will result in the spanking. Next, spring back. Next one is a spring back. The deformation caused in bending is partly elastic and partly elastic. The deformation caused in the bending is partly elastic. At the end of the operation, when the bending force is removed, there will be some elastic recovery. So, this thing we have discussed in the, I will go back to some slide. So, this is the edge bending. So, to not recover, we are using a pressure pad here. And when coming to the point of end spring back, what we are doing, now we will see clearly. At the end of the operation, when the bending force is removed, there will be some elastic recovery. This causes a slight decrease in the bend angle. See the figure, uppercase shoe, bottom pressure pad, upper from the section, lower from section, low die shoe, bend opens up after punch load is released. So, what is happening? Now, we will see clearly. So, when we apply the load, what will happen? It will bend. But when we release that load, it will slightly recover. That means it will tries to regain its original position, but it will recover only few moments. That is called as an spring back. See, these are the different rods. This is called as a spring back angle. Now, we will see that. For low carbon steels, it is 1 to 2 degrees. For medium carbon steel, it is 3 degrees to 4 degrees. For phosphorus bronze and the phosphorus steels, it is 10 to 15 degrees. I repeat, carbon steels is 1 degrees to 2 degrees. For medium carbon steels is 3 to 4 degrees. Phosphorus bronze and the spring steels is 10 to 15 degrees, 10 degrees to 15 degrees. To compensate the effect of the spring back, what we have to do? The wedge shaped punches and the mating dies are made with somewhat low included angles than required in the component. Due to this component will be bent to a greater angle than required, but it will spring back to the desired shape. Spring back prevention. Spring back prevention. So, here we are keeping one external thing, that is to prevent a spring back. Spring back prevention you can see in the clear, but here preventing the spring back in both the sides. This is also the example of a spring back, that is in the V shape, relieved for larger bend radius. Edge bend product. So, this product you will see in the gift shops mainly, that is the example for the edge bend product. Edge bend product. What is this box containing? You will see the earrings in the box. So, what is this box? Is it the tool kit? Jig. In the previous, we have completed the press tools. Now we are going to see regarding the jigs. A jig is defined as a device which hold the workpiece, guide the workpiece, position the workpiece, or locate in the cutting tool. I repeat, which hold the workpiece, positions the workpiece, locate the cutting tool, and the guides the cutting tool. A jig is not fixed to the machine table. It is usually lighter in construction. So, our production device is usually associated with mass production where high accuracy is required. Workpieces are difficult to hold. Types of jigs. The jigs are classified depending upon their construction and the method of operation. Now, we will see types of jigs. Template jig, plate jig, box jig, leaf jig, indexing jig, universal jig, and the vice jig. I repeat, template jig, plate jig, box jig, leaf jig, indexing jig, universal jig, and the vice jig. Can you name this? So, that is an example of an template gauge. It is a master plate having the holes at desired positions. It is fixed on the component to be drilled. The tool is guided through these holes of the template. The tool is guided through these holes of the template. So, this is an already drilled one. See in the figure template jig. See in the upper direction template work and bottom one is an work. Template jig, plate jig. In this jig, a drill bull is mounted on the template to drill holes on the large parts to maintain accurate spacing. Location of the tool will be accurate. So, these are the drill bushes. Drill bush, template, and the bottom is an work. Next, box work. It will appear like a box. Is provided with a handle. Is used when drilling is required on more than one plane. A box jig is mainly used when we require the box in one plane. Box jig, drill bush, cam handle, work, cam and the buttons. Those are the parts. The components located by means of the buttons are generally used for irregular shaped components. Now, we will see some videos which I have taken a source from the YouTube. That is for your understanding purpose only.
Today is April 6, 2020. I want to show you something I made for my bench vest. It's a gadget. This one is a prototype. Sometimes when you want to clamp non-metal parts, you don't want the jaw to make mark on the part, so you put a piece of wood. It's kind of difficult to hold two pieces of wood with one hand and hold the other part with the other hand and tighten the device with the third hand. It's not impossible, but it's very difficult to do that. So I made this one. This is my prototype. It has 4 pieces of wood nailed together, brought nailed together. This is my prototype. When looking at the shape, I came up to an idea that I can make it in 2 parts actually. So I made my second part, which is this one. It has just 2 pieces of wood. This one is 1 piece, the top one is 1 piece, the bottom one is 1 piece. I just removed this part and this part just to show you how it works. I made some mark on this one because it's custom made for each jaw. It goes on this jaw pretty well, and this protruding part clip on this part, and this one will clip on the bottom. And I have this part. It's pretty tight. Yeah. Now it's easier for you to open this vise and And if you have 2 hands, of course, I'm holding my camera with my 1 hand. So just put it there and tighten it. So with this wood, you can call it cushion or whatever, it doesn't scratch your part. So this is a pretty handy small gadget for the bench vest. Okay, thank you. Bye.
हाय फ्रेंड्स, मैं सेल्फ जिग्नेश शाह। आज हम बॉक्स स्टिक के बारे में डिस्कशन करेंगे। तो इसके कंपोनेंट के बारे में बात कर लेते हैं कि अंदर क्या क्या होगा। बॉक्स होगा, बूस होगा, क्लैंपिंग स्क्रू होगा, लोकेटर की हम डिज़ाइन नहीं बताते हैं, मतलब जनरली अगर पूछते हैं तो फिर अपने हिसाब से ड्रॉ कर देने की। और उसमें ऐसा ही होता है कि हमारे रिक्वायरमेंट के हिसाब से लोकेटर हम लिख देते हैं कि भाई डिफरेंट टाइप्स का मार्केट में अवेलेबल होता है। प्रेस्ड लोकेटर है तो प्रेस्ड लोकेटर की डिज़ाइन बना देने की, उस हिसाब से उसकी डायमेंशन दे देने के। ओके, तो जिस तरीके से मैंने पहले ही एक वीडियो में बताया, तो उसकी लिंक मैं आपको दे दूंगा टेम्पलेट जिग की डिज़ाइन की, जिसके अंदर हम बूस्ट डिज़ाइन करते हैं। बूस्ट डिज़ाइन करने का प्रोसीजर बिल्कुल सेम रहता है। जैसे मान लीजिए हमें ये इंटरनल डायमीटर जितना mm का चाहिए, जैसे 10 है तो 10 + 2 mm कर देने का। ओके, और इसकी साइड की लेंथ के लिए कितना पड़ेगा, 10 + 0.025 mm, मतलब ये पूरा है मल्टीप्लाई बाय 2 होगा। यहाँ पे मैंने 2 लिख दिया प्लस, यहाँ पे 10 + 0.025, टोटल हाइट के लिए हम 10 × 2 और यहाँ पे इसकी हाइट कितनी होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि ये बॉक्स के ऊपर प्लेट के ऊपर रहेगा। ओके, तो यहाँ पे d यानी 10 × 0.625, अगर हमारा इंटरनल डायमीटर हमें रिक्वायर्ड जितना चाहिए 10 है तो ओके, नहीं तो जितना हमें डायमीटर दिया है यहाँ पे सब जगह मल्टीप्लाई होगा, सिर्फ यहीं पे ही प्लस होगा, यहाँ पे भी मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे हम। ओके, तो इस तरीके से बूस्ट की डिज़ाइन होगी। क्लैंपिंग स्क्रू की जैसे स्टैंडर्ड है उस तरीके से मैंने जो पहले वीडियो में रखी थी वही है। ओके, तो इसका इंटरनल मतलब मिनिमम डायमीटर इतना चाहिए, मैक्सिमम 12 होना चाहिए, और इसकी हाइट इतनी, वर्क पीस के हिसाब से हम डिज़ाइन करते हैं। ओके, तो अभी मेन इसके अंदर है वो है बॉक्स किस तरीके से डिज़ाइन करते हैं। तो मान लीजिए हमारा वर्क पीस 100 mm का है, तो इसकी अंदर की हाइट हम 10 दोनों साइड से प्लस कर देंगे, स्वार्प क्लियरेंस या एक्सेट्रा कोई भी वजह से। ओके, एकदम फिटिंग नहीं रखना है। और इसकी हाइट कितनी ले, तो फिर मतलब विड्थ तो के डायमेंशन अगर ऊपर जैसे कि मैं बताता हूँ, जैसे कि ये कितना होगा 8 इंटू 2.5 माइनस ये जो वैल्यू आएगी वही हमें यहाँ लेनी है, और उसकी जो वैल्यू आती है यहाँ पे जो विड्थ होगी उसके 1.5 मल्टीप्लाई कर देने की, तो हमें इसकी विड्थ भी मिल जाएगी। उस हिसाब से दोनों बाजू से करना है। ओके, मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल दिखा देता हूँ किस तरीके से हमें करना है, आपको थोड़ा ज़्यादा अच्छी तरीके से समझ आएगा। जैसे कि यहाँ पे हमने 2 वर्कपीस लिए हैं, ये वर्कपीस हमारा ब्राउन कलर के सेक्शन में, ये बूश लगा है और बूश के हिसाब से हमने ये डिज़ाइन किया है। इसकी विड्थ ली है, मल्टीप्लाई बाय हमने 1.5 कर दिया तो ये हो गया। ये क्लैंपिंग थ्रू है और ये लोकेटर जिस तरीके से हमने चाहिए उस तरीके से हम डिज़ाइन कर लेंगे। ये एक नॉर्मल वर्कपीस है जिस पर हमें खाली 2 होल करना है, इस पर हमें इंटरनल थ्रू आउट होल करना है। इस हिसाब से हमने ये 2 एग्जाम्पल दिए। थैंक यू, और वीडियो देखने के लिए प्लीज़ हमें लाइक और शेयर करिएगा।